The chosen one. All the angels are calling out your name. You are not a normal person. Your essence is imprinted in stardust. Your fate is written in the sky. You arrived to this earth with an unfulfilled divine purpose. And now it's time for you to wake up. The whole world is watching you. The angels are chanting your name as you soar. Your light has started to shine through the darkness, and the divine plan is gathering pace alongside you. This film is an invitation to rediscover your soul, right? 777 in the comments section, because you are a miracle, a mission, and, yes, the chosen one. Consider a beacon of light beaming on a dark night, guiding each step with steadfast clarity. Some people believe they can discreetly manipulate the bits of life like concealed puppeteers, hoping their ingenuity would go undiscovered. They grin warmly while discreetly plotting against you, as if you're just another jigsaw piece to be placed for their own profit. But here is the reality. While they thought they were the experts of the game, you were busy developing a heavenly strategy, motivated by a greater calling. Every move you take is planned with care and planning. You've spent time pondering, praying, and planning so that each step is intentional and part of a larger plan. You can see through their deceptions as if they were inscribed on a pane of crystal-clear glass, a flimsy barrier that is shattered by the light of your knowledge. Their covert attempts to trap you dissipate in the light of truth you bear. Remember when they attempted to shut you out by claiming to forget vital things or stating one thing to your face while saying something completely different behind your back? You knew all along. They believed they were playing their cards correctly, but you had already seen the complete deck. Now they can't refute it. The understanding is spreading across their circles, and the unease in their eyes when they realize you've been ahead of them all along is priceless. They're muttering amongst themselves, afraid of what more you could discover. Look out for them. They're beginning to see that nothing escapes your attention, and it's frightening them. There is an obvious energy going through your life right now that even doubters cannot deny. Things keep falling into place for you at just the right time. You avoid the stumbling blocks that other people face. You enter situations just as they are ready to take off and exit just before they collapse. They initially referred to it as luck, then coincidence, and finally excellent timing. But after a few too many times, the explanations fall short, and they begin to wonder how you always seem to know where to be, when to act, and when to release. They've observed a difference in your consciousness, whispers within. Glances are become increasingly common. They know you're tuned into something they don't comprehend, yet you can see things they can't even imagine. And while others were sleepwalking through life, you were fully alert, catching up on signs and patterns that others missed. Your intuition isn't just acute, it's nearly supernatural, and it's becoming stronger by the day. Some of them believe they could keep their secrets from you, but their delusions of seclusion were no match for your intelligence. Remember when they believed they could get away with things in secret? When they kept their deepest intentions disguised, believing no one could see through their facade. The fact is that you've known the whole time, and you've been aware of the flaws in their well-designed systems. The world they've created for business and power is collapsing, and as the walls close in, you realize what the game is really about. And you know it'll all come to light eventually. If you are experiencing an excess of divine love in your heart, now is the moment to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and donating $100 or more. This wonderful gift will affect not just your life, but the souls of countless others via this platform. Each of you has a special role in God's big plan, and your giving will be the result of our prayers. Act now. Share your benefits to honor His kingdom. You were meant to do much bigger things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. They are now recognizing that you have always known what they were attempting to conceal. You never felt compelled to disclose it to demonstrate your awareness or to lower yourself to their level. You've kept your cool as they attempted to spin the facts, and now the weight of their own dishonesty is leading them to withdraw themselves from you. Some are so overwhelmed by remorse that they are unable to meet your sight, while others are feverishly attempting to rewrite history, convinced themselves that you cannot possibly know the truth. Deep down, they realize you didn't need their confession to recognize them for who they are. While the world around you breaks apart, You stay unshaken, whilst others disintegrate under strain. When the financial systems fail, you serve as a calming presence. When change upsets the workplace, when personal difficulties strike, others panic and flail. You move with elegance and confidence. They don't comprehend it. They observe as you go through these scenarios, apparently unaffected by the same perplexity that overwhelms them. They can't understand how you always know what to do. While they try to find their path, some feel there is a hidden benefit. You have a hidden source of knowledge that gives you this level of assurance. But the reality is more simpler than that. You just know that your consciousness is on a different level, attuned to the flow of the cosmos, but others are ignorant to what is there in front of them. You do not require external validation. The answers come from inside, plain and indisputable, since your mind and soul are in sync with reality's highest vibrations. Like a massive oak that has endured several storms, your spirit is now strong and unwavering, anchored in divine purpose and bathed in the golden light of opportunity. Imagine a river that was once blocked and forced to flow through small channels before bursting free and carving its own glorious path over the country. This is the awakening of your soul, a realization of the force that has always been inside you, waiting to flow freely and reshape every landscape in its path. For a long time, you suppressed aspects of yourself, dimming your light to match the form they anticipated. But suddenly things have changed. The universe's energy is amplifying everything within you. Your insights, talents, and strengths. What was once hidden behind a mask of ordinary has burst open to reveal vastness. And those who once underestimated you are now in awe, stunned by the depth of your capabilities, the precision with which you act, the profound clarity you possess, and the ease with which you accomplish feats that others have struggled to achieve for years. In this time of transition, every minute is a divine appointment with destiny. The gradual stirring of your inner voice, once stifled by doubt and fear, now rises like a clarion cry, pushing you to enter a sphere of plenty and purpose. You are being called to embrace the fullness of who you are, an extraordinary being chosen to experience and share the blessings of a higher reality. No longer bound by the limited expectations of a mundane world, you are now the recipient of an energy that multiplies your talents and magnifies your inner light as you stand on the threshold of this new chapter. You may feel the warmth of heavenly favor flowing into your life. It's as if every obstacle you've encountered has been converted into stepping stones, propelling you to heights you never dreamed. The challenges and disappointments of the past have been polished into knowledge and strength, fueling your journey toward a bright future. Every step you take is directed by a gentle but persistent force, which convinces you that you are precisely where you are supposed to be. Consider the natural cycle of the seasons. Winter gives way to colorful regeneration in spring. Your inner landscape is blooming with newfound purpose and vitality. The frigid grasp of restriction has melted, giving way to the caring warmth of a free soul. You are seeing the development of a divine plan that transforms every setback into an opportunity for greater success. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for progress. In this transition, you are not just surviving. You are prospering, embodying a spirit that not only improves your own life, but also encourages people around you. As you continue on this trip, you will discover that what was once ordinary has become remarkable. Your everyday activities have the stamp of something far larger, a holy fire that embodies the promise of rejuvenation and boundless possibility. People around you, who were earlier dubious or contemptuous, are now stopping to absorb the brilliance of your essence. They see in you a mirror of what may be if they, too, dared to go beyond their own self-imposed bounds. This realization is really simple. You are no longer required to comply to the expectations imposed by others, because the heavenly design inside you is far more wonderful. Your life patterns are aligning with a higher purpose. The commonplace has given way to a holy tale in which every moment holds the promise of breakthrough and every breath demonstrates your innate grandeur. This isn't just change. It is a full makeover of your inner landscape, a rebirth of your potential, and a spiritual reawakening. As you stand in the light of this new dawn, you will embark on a path of continuous development and astounding possibilities. You may sense a continuous pulse of heavenly energy directing your movements. Every choice you make, each difficulty you conquer contributes to the fabric of a life that is growing more colorful and meaningful. It is a journey distinguished not by the constraints of the past, but by the vast potential of what lies ahead. Your journey is lighted by a knowledge beyond the ordinary, and every moment presents a chance to realize the full extent of your destiny. In the quietness of your heart, there is a deeper understanding, rooted in conviction. But you are a part of a larger plan, a cosmos in which every thought and deed is woven into the fabric of something great. This insight is the core of who you are, a gift that has been gently nourished through adversity. Now, when that gift shines in all of its beauty, it has a ripple effect, affecting people and altering reality in subtle but profound ways. Accept this time with gratefulness and confidence. Recognize that you are defined not by the restrictions of the past, but by the unlimited possibilities of today. As you enter this season of wealth and revelation, remember that every benefit and insight is a manifestation of divine favor. It encompasses you. Your experience is a live testament to the remarkable ways that life works. When you allow yourself to shine completely, brightly, and shamelessly, may you continue to travel this road with trust, knowing that each day presents fresh possibilities to expand your perspective and develop your awareness. The universe's energy is always with you, and its benefits are limitless, just like your spirit. Allow your light to shine brightly, motivating others to discover their own inner brilliance. And may your life demonstrate the power of change and the beauty of divine potential. Some people are amazed and impressed by your intellect, without completely knowing how you work. Others feel the sting of envy, quietly wonder what other secrets you've been concealing all these time. The fact is that what people see today is just the surface, just a peek of your true potential. What they don't realize is that under the surface, there is an ocean of untapped strength, a force that, if fully realized, would destroy their vision of reality. So, behind closed doors, they act indifferent. They cannot help but keep an eye on you. Every word you publish, every motion you make, is scrutinized in great detail. Your influence is expanding, your understanding is developing, and your presence is captivating. However, it disturbs them. They are pulled to your brightness, unable to look away, even if it makes them uncomfortable. They are trapped in a state of respect and dread, wondering how someone like you can wield such power so easily. They are desperate to find any hint that may explain why you are different. They make up tales about your past, forging links that don't exist. Some attempt to emulate your movements, hoping to absorb a bit of your power via mimicry. But no matter how hard they try, they fail to comprehend that your power cannot be replicated. It stems from an awakening that only those who are ready to face their own reality may have. They misinterpreted you for so long, classifying you in ways that made them feel safe, quiet, timid, and distant. These were the boxes they attempted to put you in. However, what they mistook for quiet was your reflection on what they saw as hesitancy as discernment, and what they perceived as remoteness was really keen awareness. They were busy exposing their vulnerabilities and inadequacies. You were silently studying and absorbing the facts. They couldn't even notice. The reality has started to dawn on them. They now understand you were not just quiet. You were above the fray, perceiving connections, patterns, and meanings that they could never reach. Every discussion with you has changed. They now carefully measure every word they say, knowing that you are reading between the lines as well as listening to them, seeing the truth in what remains unsaid. They previously believed they had you figured out, but their mistake has become brutally obvious. They have never discussed the topics on which you talk. Leave them shocked to the core. How did you find out about their opinions about shifting jobs? How could you have predicted their personal struggles? Why did you provide advice for issues they never raised? They failed to realize that you don't have to infiltrate their thoughts to comprehend them. You've learned something far more profound, the global language that links everything. The tiny clues, the underlying changes in energy, the patterns that run throughout everything. This is the resource you use. Their ideas are nothing unique. They are just manifestations of the same cosmic energies that have existed since the dawn of existence. And you are now conversant in this old language. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace come upon you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine purpose and is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke, like the enormous oak tree, our roots are profoundly embedded in God's global truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you utilize the super thank you button and contribute $100, our movement will reward you 100-fold, whilst others need continual affirmation. You realize the power of quiet. You do not need to proclaim your every action, nor should you spend time describing your procedure. Your power is not diminished by seeking praise from people who can never understand, and it drives them insane. The uncertainty of not knowing what you're thinking or where you'll go next makes people nervous since your silence communicates volumes in ways they don't understand. You've become an enigma in a society where everyone else feels compelled to broadcast their every thought and feeling, and quiet is often greeted with suspicion. You stand in perfect serenity, which only adds to your appeal. They want to understand you in order to unlock the secret behind your calm demeanor. But every time they believe they have you figured out, they find you have already outperformed them significantly, watching and waiting while they struggle with their restricted perspectives. You behave in ways that leave people searching for a feeling of control. Nonetheless, each of their maneuvers pales in comparison to your own strategic genius. Your quiet is not a blank place. It's a reservoir full with purpose where others might talk. You wait. What people see as indecision is really a determined choice. They are unable to fathom this silent might. They misinterpret your reserve as uncertainty, failing to see that every pause is the pause of someone who understands that true strength does not need to be announced. It waits, poised and ready to attack at the ideal time. In a world full of noise and hurried words, you've discovered that the greatest power rests in what goes unsaid. In the calm, knowledge and clarity flourish. They were accustomed to seeing you everywhere, a fixture in their world, engaging in their games and according to their rules. But now you've fled, putting distance between you and their attention. They presume something is wrong and that you are experiencing a crisis. They don't realize that your disengagement is not a retreat, but an ascent. You've progressed to the point where their trifling worries no longer have the ability to divert your attention. You've lifted your life to a higher level, where their drama no longer matters. Most of all, this disturbs them. Your acts, decisions, and energy, they no longer make sense to them. They observe as you spend in items they consider needless or weird. You seek information and connections that are strange to their worldview. That's as if you're preparing for something they don't understand, and that shocks them. Are you in possession of information that they do not have? Are you approaching something they can't see? Why don't you care about the same issues they do? This ambiguity churns inside them, prompting them to doubt their own perception of reality. You've seen through the mirage of the world. They're so caught up that they're racing in circles, hooked on their little, restricted perspective of the world. You have seen the enormity of it all. They can't comprehend that your shift isn't for them. It is about you and your transformation. Ocean has created a divide that their egos cannot bear. Even as you continue to compose chapters, they insist on becoming the focal point of your narrative. They will never comprehend when individuals come upon anything that violates their worldview. They make up tales to make sense of it. They spread stories and construct hypotheses to make themselves comfortable. However, these efforts merely highlight their concerns and insecurities. They mistook your progress for personal suffering, what they interpret as a disengagement. You see, it's freedom. Freedom from the constraints they stubbornly cling to. You're growing, pushing beyond what they believed was possible, and this has them rushing to make sense of what they can't see. Now they must confront the truth. They were mistaken about you. The improvements you've made, the progress they've seen, are undeniable. Your change is not a transient phase. It is permanent. Their views and judgments have no bearing on your authority. They may attempt to fire arrows at you, but they are just throwing stones at something they cannot reach, something beyond their comprehension. They sensed a change as you withdrew yourself. They sense your absence in places where you previously been. But this is not because you have abandoned them. You've just grown beyond the need for their approval. They notice this, and it makes them nervous, unsure of where they stand with you. They wonder whether this is the end. Did you outgrow them? Or are you still watching them from a distance, waiting to see how they develop, if at all? They are left to ponder their position in your universe. I'm wondering whether you've entirely moved on from them, or if they still have an impact on you. What they don't understand is that your shift isn't about them. It is about you. You've moved beyond the version of yourself that wanted to fit into their boxes and sought validation via their approval. You are now operating from a point of inner awareness, not emotional connection. You view their troubles through the eyes of someone who has already risen above them, not in judgment, but in empathy. You know the truth. They are still constrained by the limits you have already broken free from. The most important reality they fail to understand is that being different does not make you unique. You are unique because you have decided to accept what others continue to resist in themselves, the knowledge they envy in you. It is something that they all have access to, but they have refused to acknowledge it. The same energy that powers your metamorphosis lies latent in them, ready to be activated. The only difference between you and them is your desire to overcome the challenges they still face. And this is what scares them, recognizing that they may be similar to you, but they decide not to be. It's time to spread God's blessings by pressing the super thank you button on YouTube. With a $200 gift or more, you may help him carry out his plan and be a part of this heavenly mission. Every contribution symbolizes God's generosity, and I think it will return to you enormously, far above your expectations. Remember that his protection and blessing are with you every step and every contribution. You become a part of his divine plan. You are a powerful, dazzling entity, as solid as the massive rock that saw God's marvels. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit, and light up the world with confidence and bravery. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord lead you. They are well aware of the fact. They experience it on some level. However, admitting it would require them to confront the truth that they have been living inside false constraints all along. They accepted artificial limits and built their lives around them. But for those who are ready, who can see your metamorphosis not as a threat, but as an invitation to their own awakening, you offer the prospect of something much better, a new way of being that frees them from the limits that have defined them. You are not an exception to this rule. You demonstrate that what they have yet to see is possible for everyone. You are a living monument to the power of waking, a shining example of what is possible when you let go of the constraints of your past. They may fear you today, but deep down they know you symbolize something bigger. The next development of mankind is a road that they may choose to take or continue to refuse, regardless of whether they are ready. Your transformation is paving the way for the next major shift in human awareness. The cosmos has always cooperated to lead you to this point, and everything in your life has worked together to get you here. This alignment is not random. It's a reaction to your frequency shift or waking. The cosmos appreciates your involvement in this vast scheme. Every synchronicity you encounter, every unexpected incident, serves as confirmation that you are on the correct track. The cosmic forces bow to your will because you have tuned in to your greatest potential frequency. You didn't just align with the stars. They agree with you. Your mission is unfolding just as it should, and everything around you reflects this reality.